While true that a level of faithfulness to a source when adapting something is to be desired, I would argue that when adapting from different mediums, there is such a thing as being too faithful to the source, especially in anime. Take Soul Eater, for instance, an example that is rife with this issue, though it's the least of its problems. In chapter 31 of the manga, Death the Kid is fighting an enemy called the Fisher King on a train. There's also a mouse here for some reason. I don't know, I haven't watched Soul Eater in forever. At one point, the train is decoupled, with Kid being left on the car behind. Fisher is attacked, and so he jumps to avoid it, but unintentionally jumps to the car being left behind. He then verbally points out what just happened. All of this happens in only a few panels within the same page, especially when talking about manga, an art style that is usually black and white and can sometimes appear sketch-like. It can be difficult to discern what occurred when so many things are happening in so few panels. Stating what just happened verbally would almost be necessary. It could stand to be delivered in a better way, but the point is that being this expository is sometimes needed to properly communicate events within the realms of a medium like this. Episode 30 of the anime follows the same events. Fisher is attacked, he jumps to avoid it, and roughly 8 seconds are spent in absolute silence, simply focusing on Fisher and Kid. Then Fisher reiterates what had just happened. This is not only unneeded, the long pause in absolute silence borders on being insulting. It's presented as though it's giving the audience time to process what just happened and perhaps leave space for laughing while no characters are talking. But if the writers believe that we could process what happened, there's no need to explain it. If the writers did believe it needed to be explained, then the long pause serves only to pad out the runtime in an extremely awkward moment. While this is indeed accurate to what happened in the manga, there was no consideration for why this line was needed there, let alone why it was unneeded here. It was needed in the manga because it filled in the tiny but crucial details that occurred in between panels. Details that either aren't obvious enough on their own, or would take a closer look to see what's happening, so close that it might be inconvenient to the reader. But now this line is unneeded because it only serves to verbally tell us what the anime has already visually told us. When objects are in motion and the actions being taken are far more noticeable, the need for constant narration becomes redundant.